week 3 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few kickers I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Marr of the Dallas Cowboys. So Marr, he's had a couple stints now with the Cowboys, and this is the third one here this season for him. A couple years ago, he was on them, they cut him loose. And so far, he's been putting up decent numbers. Week 1 versus Tampa, hit a 50-plus yarder. And week 2 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, 2 50-plus yarders and 2 extra points. So for whatever reason here with Marr, he can't kick those 35, 40 yarders, but 50-plus yarders for the most part. He puts them through the uprights, and last week winning the ball game at the buzzer for the Dallas Cowboys. So week 3, a pretty good matchup, division matchup, a ball game, to be honest, I see between the Cowboys and the Giants in the NFC East matchup on Monday Night Football being in the teens to low 20s, where they're going to be field goal opportunities. So Marr, he might get 2 or 3 field goal opportunities, a couple extra points in this ball game. So if you need a kicker in deeper leagues, he's available in 98% of fantasy leagues. The next kicker is Seabird of the Detroit Lions. So this Lion team, a high-powered offense, believe it or not, in the first 2 weeks of the season. Week 1 versus Philly, they scored 35 points, and Seabird had 5 extra points. And week 2 versus the Commanders, they scored 36-27 with the victory. And Seabird in that one, 11 fantasy points, a 39-yarder, hit a 40 to a 49-yarder, and 4 extra points. So right here, week 3 of Minnesota, another indoor game, and a game where I think Detroit could put up points. I don't think they're going to put up in the 30s, maybe mid-20s in this one at best for this Detroit Lion offense. But Seabird's going to get opportunities, and you always like to see a kicker kicking indoors, getting the chance, and put in your roster. So right now, he's available as well in 98% of fantasy leagues, and he's a kicker I have as a sleeper this week. And the third and final kicker I have as a sleeper is Fairbank of the Houston Texans, a longtime Texans kicker, so far off to a good start this year. And he's available as well, believe it or not, in 98% of leagues. Week 1 versus Indianapolis, 240 to 49 yarders and 2 extra points. And week 2 at the Denver Broncos, 20 to a 29-yarder and 240 to 49 yarders. Now it was 2 good games to start the season here for Fairbank. In week 3 here at Chicago, we'll see what the field conditions are going to be. But if they're fair weather conditions, I think Fairbank and his Texan team, they'll get in the red zone but fizzle out and stall out on drives where he's going to have to settle for field goals. So right now, all these kickers, to be honest, are decent options, I think. But obviously, I don't have them ranked in my top 12 at the kicker position this week. So if you haven't checked that video out with my rankings with the kickers, go check it out this week. But anyway, that's a few kickers I have as sleeper options for week 3 of the fantasy football season.